Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
And now an Atlanta exclusive on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game on the Rick and Jamie Show. We have the brand new head coach of our Atlanta Falcons, Morristown, New Jersey's finest, Mr. Dan Quinn. At the age of 44, you're a head coach in the National Football League, and your track record, it's VMI, it's William & Mary, it's all of these teams leading up to this right now. You're a head coach in the NFL. There's 32 of these jobs in the world, and you got one of them. How excited are you?
I am jacked. It's thanks for having me on the show today. I couldn't be more fired up to be here with you. One of the cool parts about being here, I know how important football is in this part of the country, and I got to experience that some with the 12s in Seattle and how important that was, and I know how important the team is to this part of the country, so I couldn't be more fired to be here with you guys.
You know, and I know you're the consummate pro, but I got to ask you, you had to feel like Santa Claus, at Christmas time. You had that present waiting for you in Atlanta, and you're focusing on the Super Bowl. But you know what, Coach? I know you used to work for Pete. I think it was Pete Carroll. But I thought I'd rather bring you into town and have another coach welcome you that you might know a little something about. His name is Steve Mariucci. Mooch, would you please welcome the coach to town?
Mooch, are you on the line?
Yes, I am on the line.
All right.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? You've come a long way from Hofstra. We hired you from over. You're a bright-eyed kid and eager and young and all of those things that we were looking for, and I just wanted to say congratulations, Dan. Because
well, thanks, man. That means the world to me. You were the one that gave me a shot, and I couldn't tell you how the impact you had on me. And we've been talking about that, during feels like media day here, but in the process of today, the impact you've had on me and the energy you brought to the team and to all of us as a staff. So much respect always.
Well, thanks. We got to see the same things that Arthur Blank sees right now. In 2001, was it 2001, Dan?
Yeah, 2001.
We interviewed a bunch of guys. Yeah, we interviewed a bunch of guys, a lot of guys with pro experience. But we chose Dan because he seemed to be so eager and so willing to work hard and humble and smart and bright and all those things that you look for in a coach. And he climbed the ladder so well, in not only pros but in college too. He can do both. And so I'm just really proud of you. I want to wish you the very, very best.
Well, it means a lot, man. Much respect always, and it's really cool to have you on here with me right now.
Coach, the thing about it. Hey, Coach, Coach, you got to give me a Dan story. I know you got 1,000 of them. Give me a good one from back in the day, working with Bryant Young, and Bryant probably put somebody out on the sidelines, and he had to calm him down. Give us a good story.
Jeez, I don't know about stories. I just know that Dan was one of those guys that he was always working. He's always had his head down, wasn't looking for any handouts or publicity or credit or anything. Just one of the guys that just kept his mouth shut and worked. And but he was always went to mass on Sundays when we had that, right? And we always
that's right.
And we how's Stacy doing, by the way?
Stacy is doing awesome. She's here today, and so this is a story about Mooch. You're talking about the other way story. So I went to interview, and I went back. I was working on Hofstra. I have one. Right? And this is about you. It's a good one. It's a good one. So I went back and back to Hofstra, and he said, "Hey, I'll call you the next day." So of course, I'm staring at my phone for the next 12 hours. So it was about 9 o'clock that night or 10 o'clock. I said, Stace, I don't think it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden the phone rang, and it was Coach on the other line. And so before he offered me the job, he said, "Hey, is your wife Stacy there?" And I said, so I handed it, and she looks at me. He wants to talk to me? And and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to offer Dan the job, and can't wait to have you out here." And I thought, man, is this guy classy? Like, he just won up to me already.
That's Mooch.
And it was like one of those moments. He said, "This guy's got it." And it was like a small thing that he did that left an impression on Stacy forever. And there's a million stories about Mooch like that.
Yeah, but Mooch with the wives is something else. I don't know if you saw him. Well, you didn't see him Super Bowl Sunday. But you just got to go and look at the litany of people that Mooch, the Victoria's Secret models and all that. I don't know how Gail does it. It's like I don't know how she puts up with you, Mooch, and all these other women.
Hey, Dan, I got a hug from Adriana Lima right on the set, and it was a long, lingering hug, man. It was awesome. Nice. But you know what? I spoke to Stacy because you know how important it is, and when you go through the process of hiring your staff, and you've done some of that already, you know, you're going to want coaches that have a very supportive wife, because this thing that we do with coaching is crazy. It's difficult. It's time consuming. It's a lot of pressure, and the wife, the wind beneath your wings, has got to be very, very good as a coach's wife. And
right.
So that's why I wanted to make sure Stacy was on board with this, because you were moving from that one coast all the way over to the other coast. And we were hoping that she was on board, and certainly she has been.
Yep, it was awesome.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you joining us, and I thought this would be a little special for him. And, you know, as always, man, you know, you're the best, and I love you, buddy. And we'll catch up to you down the road, brother.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for having me on. Dan, best of luck. Anything you need, give me a holler, okay?
I will. I appreciate you.
Absolutely awesome. That's the great Steve Mariucci. Steve Mariucci helping welcome Dan Quinn here to Atlanta. He's the new Atlanta Falcons head coach, announced about an hour and a half ago, hanging out with Rick and Jamie here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Listening to Mr. Blank and listening to you at that press conference, it really seemed like, just reading between the lines, that it's going to be a three-headed monster in terms of football decision-making with you, Thomas Dimitroff, and Scott Pioli. Is that a good way to categorize it, as a three-headed monster where you're all exchanging ideas and then coming to an agreement for the greater good of the team?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, to come into a situation to have a guy like Thomas who I can, you know, connect with right away. And it was one of those times, you know, when you meet somebody right away and you feel like, okay, this guy sees football like I do. And so when I had that chance to get connected with him, when I had this opportunity, it was like Stacy had asked me that night, well, okay, what if all of them, you know, how would it work out? And so for me to have the opportunity to come here and to be a part of this organization, I couldn't tell you how fired up I am.
Now let's talk about this roster. And I'm going to ask the question, will this roster, when it's all said and done in your mind, look a lot like Seattle's roster? Or will it be a different? Because Seattle, what I mean by Seattle's roster is you got a lot of free spirits, and you got your guys just played.
Yep.
You know, they said what they want, but they just played, and they played hard.
I think at times you can celebrate a guy's uniqueness as opposed to going through the other way of trying to push it down or deflate it. If his guy's got unique stuff, I'd rather celebrate it. And so we've done that in Seattle, and I can't wait to get connected with the guys here. I don't know the roster well enough, to be honest with you. I'd be mistaken if I said I could tell who everybody is, and really my focus on the last month has been Seattle. I owed that to Pete, to John, the players, the coaches, the 12s there, that they're the ones that helped me get to this seat today. So for me to look ahead and not be focused on what Seattle was doing, that would have been unfair to all the people that gave me that op. But in terms of a style and of an attitude, I love playing that way. Mm-hmm. And I would hope our guys would feed off that energy, and all the ways that we can play good ball, we're going to do it. The way we attack on offense, the way we're going to run the ball, the way we're going to attack people down the field. We've got featured guys of how to do it defensively. We are going to try to be one of the best fundamental teams in ball, the way we tackle, the way we go after the football. It's going to start with effort first. That's when you can start dedicating your effort to the next guy. That's when you know you're going to be at your best.
That voice belongs to Dan Quinn, the new head coach of our Atlanta Falcons. You're going to be hearing a lot of that voice on this radio station, the flagship for the Atlanta Falcons, for years and years to come. Dan, I want to talk to you about Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. We talked a lot about the timing of it and how he was announced as the offensive coordinator, and you were rumored to be the head coach, but that announcement came before you were officially announced as head coach. So we're just curious about that, and we talked a lot about that. And also, how extensive is your history with Kyle Shanahan? How well do you guys know each other, and have you ever worked together before?
We have not worked together. So when you go through this process, there's certain guys that you coach against that you say, okay, this is hard. Mm-hmm. And for me, defensively, it's the team that have that balance, that can attack you down the field, throwing it, that have the ability to run. And by having that run game, it allows you to close the circle of toughness on your team. When it's time to finish the game, it's time to go. And so for us to have that zone run game, to be able to finish at the end of the game is going to be an important one. As far as the timing of it, when we had our second visit, they asked me, and because I wouldn't be able to have any more contact with the team up, after that point, who would be some people that you'd be interested in connecting with. So when I went through the process last year, Kyle was certainly one that I wanted to talk to. He's a terrific play caller in terms of the way he attacks and the way he goes after it. So I thought, what better way to feature that than by having him as a part of it?
Yeah, because my biggest concern had to do with the baggage. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland and what's going on there, and Johnny Manziel. And so the question becomes: are you concerned about having to deal with that when you're a coach candidate, bringing a guy along, or do you let the chips fall where they may and you go, hey, look, We'll figure that out later. This guy does what I want to do in my perfect world, and so we'll deal with that stuff later.
You know what, Jamie? That's exactly it. When we get a chance to get connected with coaches, let's find out the important things, that are important to me, the way we can attack, the way we can connect with the players. So certainly we did our research, on our end too, to make sure that we'd be a good fit together. It'd be the worst thing if, just because the guy was a good play caller. That's exactly the opposite of what we're going to be connected as a whole staff. And we've got some terrific guys to be a part of. And then even, for me, having guys like Terry, as a receivers coach, like how fortunate are we? You know what I mean?
So Terry's guys. being retained.
Yep, and there'll be a
that's
list
great
of guys
news.
here.
We're very happy about that.
I really wouldn't even use the word retained. He's going to be a part of what we're doing moving forward. I hate that word to say, okay, he's here or retained or hold it. Certainly not the case. So
I'm not a wordsmith. I just stab and just pull words out of the air.
For me, that's an important topic, and I can't wait to get connected with all these guys.
And how much more staff are you going to have to put together when it's all said and done? Or
there's going to be, in fact, some of the guys will already be here, as we get started tonight and tomorrow. And then as we get through the week, let's hope by the end of the week that we'll be able to have it all sewn together.
We've got Dan Quinn. One more for you here. You've got the defensive structure with Raheem Morris, Richard Smith, Raheem kind of the pass guy, and Richard Smith kind of the run guy, sort of two coordinators within the defense under you. Is that the right way to phrase it?
Yes, and we had a similar style in Seattle. So Richard will be the defensive coordinator, and Ra's job will be to completely support him, and he'll be completely involved with all the situations that come up from 2 minutes at the half, 2 minutes at the end of the game, the third downs, all the red zone stuff. So collaboratively, we'll be all in it together.
Dan, we can't thank you enough for dropping by and spending some time on probably the busiest day of your life,
awesome
announced
day.
and introduced today as the head coach of our Atlanta Falcons. You seem like a great guy, so just dude to dude, congratulations on one of the 32 gigs in the NFL. We look forward to talking with you in the future.
Likewise.